There we are. All right. I will see you in about
Okay.
an hour.
Enjoy the nothingness.
I will. And once more, I place on the jacket that you call the human body. And I wear it for our session today. You do not even know that you are wearing this jacket as you've become so accustomed. You don't know what life is like without it. Yet you'll know in your distant past and distant future what the density of vibration will give or hinder you from understanding. Now, there are three ways that people come to know spirit. And they follow their spiritual path in understanding, if you would like to call the name spirit or God or deity or their ancestors or even the universe. There are those which study all that there is to know on the topic. They study the great names of the past. They study the process. They learn the ins and outs of all means and techniques regarding their topic. But as they follow the way of the mind, they are rather like a town planner that has all the maps of the area, knows all that there is to know about the area, but they can grow nothing. They know not what it's like to plant and water a seed, and then to care for the plant till it germinates and grows into the fruit that it is to deliver. The facts that they give are dry and dull. And they may be able to give the most wonderful speeches and impress others with what they know, but their delivery lacks heart. There are those which are constantly looking for the new things to do. And these are the second type of people who chase spirit with action, always chasing a new modality, a new style, a new technique. There is little satisfaction in each technique as they add another before one is fully understood. And there is never enough room on their business card for all that they have to offer. Never truly understanding and never totally bringing the heart of spirit within each of their sessions. The third way is the ones which worship spirit without a thought. They do not know. They are not worried about new techniques, but let go fully into spirit. And they bumble along with a beautiful heart but not having any application. The true way is to bring all of these together in equal measure and fully. Some knowledge, some preparation for action, and the desire to serve spirit. There'll be those then which follow them, those trying to trip them up and say, you did not know that fact, or you did not try this way, or your heart was not fully into the work that was delivered. So the true path is bringing them all together with the heart leading the way. And the perfected path is one that brings 100% of each of the three choices into their path. Some knowledge, some desire for action and application, and the intent to serve. There is an organization called Remember, Love, Serve. This is the foundation of the true path in its purity to spirit. So each of the problems that you may possess is answered by looking deeper into which of these paths that you follow and understanding that you have more of one and less of another. And your correction then can become obvious. And as we get closer to those questions that are waiting for us now, bear in mind what I have said. And you too may be able to see within the question the answer. As there is truth in the saying, the problem and the answer arrive at the same time. Not always clear, not always obvious, but the truth is always present within the illusion. Spirit are with you regardless of your trials and tribulations of life. Whether you have achieved great successes or great failures, the truth always sits waiting. Now, I believe, Brandon, we have a few names for the healing list. Could we get to those now, please?
Yes, we do. Angelina, George, Andreas, Stephanos, Irene, Stella, Dimitri, Tamika Williams, Loretta Caputo, Guy and Helen Bevilacqua, Teresa, Charlotte and Aura, Pia, Sonia, Ayla, Erica, Helen, Bob, Ozzy, Kim, Lisa and Grace, Craig Slavin, Nicole Cooper, and Shane Thorne. Thank you.
Now, as we get to the questions that you may choose to ask, you may ask them of any personality which so appeals to you. If you would like a light answer, a deep or very deep, or even deeper still answer, then you may request accordingly. So, Brandon, I believe we have some questions. If the person is present, let them ask them the question themselves. However, of course, if it is sent to you by somebody not present, then you may ask the question for them. So let us progress. We have a first question.
Yes, we do. Our first question goes to Deborah. If you would like to unmute yourself, Deborah, and ask your question.
Hi, Ignatius. I believe maybe this would be appropriate for your consideration. And my question was whether we incarnate with a contract as to our life purpose. And if so, how does one know whether they're fulfilling their purpose? Does everyone fulfill at least aspects of their contract before they transition?
My dear, in a recent analogy, in fact, there was two analogies. The first one was the wave and the ocean, and the second analogy was sitting in a movie theater, watching life on the screen. Now, what was not eluded at that time was that the film that you are about to watch, or in your case, partway through, is already pre-made prior to you entering the movie theater. Now, this would bring up many other thoughts or questions. You see, in essence, the answer to your question is to realize that you are the true depth of spirit, the stillness of spirit, the stillness that sits and watches the play out on the screen. And the stillness just observes. The purity of spirit just observes what is happening. Of course, you could use the words consciousness or awareness to this. So if you are just watching, then you are not doing, as in not living the life totally. It is the mind that lives the life, the mind that creates it, the body that walks the path. But the spirit observes. So the mind then goes through the trials and tribulations, the challenges, the rebirth, and then also the production of the following life. It creates purpose, it lives that purpose and accomplishes the task. There are no times when that purpose is not met. So if you are destined to become a great servant of the masses, then you will achieve that. You will live it. The issue is when one thinks that they are in control and challenges the world and challenges the environment, challenges the process. And for a while, you think you are the doer, the one living. You see, when you come to my side, you escalate through what I will call the lower realms into the higher realms. And as you achieve the higher path, there is less and less to be done, and more purity to be acknowledged. So yet again, it is your viewpoint that is important in the accomplishment of your life. The viewpoint of, am I living it? Am I challenging the existence? Or am I just going with whatever is laid in front? You see, you are already the purity of spirit. Of course, there are few, very few, that realize that they are the spiritual self, seeing themselves as a lesser version. So the lesser version then thinks, I must do. And the higher version thinks that this is all entertainment. So let's take this analogy one more step. If you can accept it is true that you are just consciousness, and you are observing the play on the screen, then this is how many take a step to realize and to state that all of life is just thought. Like bubbles in the glass. It is just a thought that I am Bob or Paul or Mary. You see, when you wake up in the morning, you wake up, and if you are very aware, which may be difficult within the first few seconds, if you are very aware, there is a brief glimmer of time where you do not know who you are or where you are. Very fleeting and can be very difficult to see. But then there is the dawning. as awareness becomes consciousness, becomes form. And you realize my name is, and I am here, wherever that may be. So the more you fight your life, the more you resist and struggle and think you are the one running the show, the more difficulty you will face. You will try to swim upstream. But it is in the stillness, the acceptance, the non-agitation, where life happens and all is accomplished very easily. Perhaps you already know from your life that when you have to make a decision or do something, when it is true, it just happens and happens easily. But when it is against the tide, there is difficulty, struggle. You push and you pull and you knock and you run and you chase and you swim upstream. I said in a talk last night how to know the difference between when it is an action is from your head or from your heart. When it is from your head, then there is lots of agitation and lots of effort. And that result and desire is almost instantly forgotten. It can be very difficult to recall. Why did I do that? But when the action is from your heart, then there is stillness of being. There is a tinge of love for spirit. And that action is remembered within the heart. So you can remember an incident you did 20 years ago and remember it quite vividly. When the action is derived from, let us say, the formless, and there is no thought, there is no effort, it does not give separation, but calls on unity of all other spirit, and brings all of life together in the joy of connection. So your question, which I hope I have answered sufficiently for you, is summed up. It is summarized by let spirit do the work. Now, this is a phrase which asks of you to relax. When the call to action arises for you to be committed with an open heart and a bright but still mind. And when I say it like that, you can see the beauty of purity. Now, when I said also a call to action, this comes from the depths and not the surface. If you can listen to that depth by being still, and just following the instructions given, there will be an ease to life, constantly present, always in preparation until application is required. There are many who would say, my mission in life is to know God. And if that is your mission, and I mean that generally, not specifically to you, if you follow the path with equal measures of openness and clarity, with the intention of the heart, you will always achieve your mission. But set your intention true and clear, and you will achieve what you wish to achieve. Now, Deborah, have I given you a sufficient answer?
Most definitely. I thank you so much, particularly timely for me personally. So I thank you.
May you be blessed, my dear.
Thank you. You as well.
Is there another question, Brand?
Yes, there is. This person here would like to remain anonymous. So I will ask for them, and you may respond to the question as well. A few days ago, I was able to experience terminal lucidity with my loved one, or what some refer as the last rally. This is where they received a surge of energy, where they were able to almost function like normal, when prior they were almost in semi-conscious state with no control over their bodily functions. The following day, my loved one went back to the state of unconsciousness and is now in their terminal days, hours towards transition. Can you describe why this happens and the spiritual significance behind it?
Often, as people approach their final days, they sit and wake and live just for a short while as if there is nothing wrong. And they sit in this space, often for a last goodbye. And they experience the beauty of life once more, but within a very different frame of mind. They have often glimpsed the other side, glimpsed the beauty that awaits them. They come back into life to make one more connection. The soul holds on to the body until the last breath. The cord is not broken until after the last breath. And the memory of life still flows through the soul. And that surge of energy you can feel just at its point of transition activates the memory and pathways of yesteryear. So as the energy flows through its tried and true pathways, it can stir the body once more. It can stir the life for it to be lived. It can give one more connection, or for one more hour, until that pathway must be let go of again. The pathways I am talking about are, you may think, neural, but they are not solely neural, as in belonging to the brain. The pathways and memories of life will still be there after transition, existing within the universal or even the individual mind. And this means then the second incarnation will live out that pathway again. Some call this karma. It is the memories of before which ensure incarnations in the future. It is the understanding beyond the memory which will take you into the stillness of spirit, beyond mind. So it is both clarity, it is memory, it is energy, which animates the body one more time. And it is that that must be stepped beyond. It is rather like having worked in the play, coming back for your bow to the audience, before going behind the curtain to backstage to remove your costume and makeup. The bow is important. It is not just for the cast, but also for the audience. It can be a sign that the audience is holding on and doesn't want to finally let go. It can be a sign that the cast member is holding on and doesn't want to let go. Often these times, like the acknowledgement of the players in the play bowing to their audience, there is the feeling of love, the surrender of final activity or attachments, the letting go, if you wish, of a life lived. A story that was also given last night was a passing of a gentleman that was very understanding of using the term spiritualism. For many years, he followed the path the knowledge, the understanding of his, what he called his religion of spiritualism. And when he transitioned, which was less than a week ago, he got off the bus of life and ran into the doors of paradise, rather than the struggle and the strain and the uncertainty that can follow many. So terminal lucidity is tied up within what I have said. Memory, letting go, attachment, energy. I trust this also answers your question. God bless you. Be with your relative. There is much to learn if you attend with a still mind and an open heart. What is being faced and what will come is not a time for sadness, but you will feel that. Can you feel the love? Not your love, but the love that calls another home. Death is a beautiful occasion. If you look at it with open eyes. Brandon, is there another question?
There is, and they said thank you, and that helps my research as well, as you know. Next question comes from Yvonne, who is here, but would like me to ask, and you may respond as well. If it is thy will and not my will, why do we do healing for others? Is it our ego that our loved ones should be allowed to heal over others? Thank you.
Yes. Well, there are two types of people, or two ways of looking. And that is the small egoic self and the large universal self. Now, the small self does not know that it is part of the universal self. The small thinks of separation. The large thinks of oneness. The small then, seeing other, thinks and believes that it is, or it is appropriate for healing, or if you like, for prayer. So it is the small self in its ignorance praying to the universal. And what does that healing or prayer ask for? It asks for the two to become one. All healing is a returning of the impure to the pure, the awakening or waking up. But you do not heal for the sake of the other. You heal for yourself, but give it to another. It's like giving $50. It looks like it's for the other, but it is actually a description of yourself. You give because of who you are, not because of who they are or what they face. The healing of another takes you closer to your journey into the universal self. And the other then benefits in two ways. One, it's got the healing or $50. And two, it is a glimpse, just a little bit of truth, that there is love or peace or joy. So the other then benefits from that healing, from that prayer, from that transmission of love. You benefit in the giving by opening your heart to more than the physical world. So heal another for yourself as an expression of yourself. And see the two take a step forward into their truth. A light passes from one to another. It is not always clear which direction that light goes from and to. But the love will always be there. And when that giving is from the Spirit, there is peace in the transition of energy or money. When there's not the purity of spirit, there is desire for balancing the books. No truer words were said. Is there another question, Brad?
Yes, there's, and thank you for that. Dave is also here, but would like me to ask on his behalf, and you may answer as well. Can lower entities attach themselves to energy centers in humans? Humans die and pass to spirit. They don't all immediately become divine. Some don't want to move on and might become earthbound until they actively seek the light. Can these entities attach themselves to us in any way? For example, an alcoholic dies and passes to spirit, but at some level they still crave alcohol. Can that entity seek a like-minded human and attach themselves? it is often said that when a person becomes really drunk, they are like a different person. Could this be the entity taking over for a while? Thank you.
Like can attract like. And often this entity that you talk about, the, can I say the less than pure form that the recipient believes themselves to be, the attachment of that entity can be a reflection of the mind of the recipient, that deep within their being they have unacknowledged hurt, pain, or even karma. Let us call that memory to be consistent. Memory from previous times, from previous lifetimes, which then attracts the recompense. Now, you see, the books are always balanced. You do not know where that entity comes from and why. You in this world think the attachment is just bad luck or bad circumstance, occasionally bad action. The truth is, within the mind, there is a desire for healing. And within that mind, then, there is a knowledge of impurity. And there are many ways to cleanse that impurity. Not all are so obvious. So the physical self or the living being then decides the action to cleanse the impurity. And in a small percentage of cases, that impurity then, the trapped memory, the trapped thought, maybe of previous action in a previous life, lives once more. If attention is given to this in its attempt to be cleansed, then once energy goes to that spot, consciously or unconsciously, then the animation of that impurity can occur. Now that impurity then must be cleansed or healed. It is felt within the body most commonly, but exists within the mind. As the body feels the destruction or torment that it must endure, the mind is what is required to be healed. Some of that healing can be done within a matter of minutes, hours, or days, or weeks, or months, or years. Some not. The memory of yesterday and how strong it was when it was first created, maybe a lifetime ago, will be lived in balance the same then. So using the analogy from previous talk, the diamond has a flaw. And lights can travel through that diamond easily enough until one day that flaw is acknowledged. And then the energy flows there. And that flaw then creates a myriad of light. And that too then must be acknowledged. The process is, how clear is your diamond? And again, following on from a previous talk, the light will flow through that diamond, come out the other side. But where does that light come from? So, the question then arises, is there a way to heal, fix, resolve that attachment? Now, the attachment may come in a form which may not be a true reflection of the previous action. But that form, let us exaggerate. Let's say it looks like a little devil. Does not mean in the previous life the person nurtured a devil, but may have nurtured, let us call it, devilish action. And through the beliefs and understanding of the mind, then that devilish action becomes the form of a little devil. Now, I try to make those words as innocuous as possible. Many times that form, the devil itself, is not seen or felt, forgive me, is not seen, but is felt within the being. Cleansing is cleansing of heart, mind, memory. Many times that person has had opportunities to cleanse, but did not take it. Until that cleanse was vital to the being and needed to be cleansed very dramatically. So the connection you use, or the example that you gave of alcohol. Now, ignoring any physical reasons why alcohol can change the being, but alcohol can wake up the dormant parts of self that are to be lived. If you are one with trapped anger, for example, then the alcohol can remove the burdens that you place upon it to suppress it and allow it to bubble to the surface. If you are one with trapped emotions, then maybe the opening will be an emotional response. If you gave an enlightened master drugs, psychedelic drugs, that maybe you are using to take you to glimpses of nirvana, the enlightened master would feel no effect. Because he is already in the state that the unenlightened person is chasing. So one is chasing purity, and one has purity. The one who has it, it cannot be enhanced. You cannot get more pure than pure. I give this example so that you can see that the impurities in that diamond do not exist. So there is nothing to be cleansed and nothing that inhibits. Only in the case of the impure is there gains to be made. So it is the impure, the believing in the impurity, which will stop you being in full clarity. The answer, Dave, has far bigger implications than the question. Are you the diamond? Are you the charcoal? Or are you something else? Perhaps that is your path. You chase. You have a desire in your mind and your heart for achievement. I see it in your being, my friend. There is something you wish to accomplish. I do not mean to go into more detail than that. Where does that desire come from? Where does the bubble start in the champagne glass? If you look for the application, you'll miss the origination. Perhaps do not look forward, but look back to the source. Your answer is there. Seek no longer when you go there. Brandon, you often ask questions for others. You do not always ask a question for yourself. I commend you. There are reasons for it, of course. So I'd be more than willing to answer one of your questions, if you wish to ask. If not, I will understand.
Thank you for those kind words, my friend. If we're going to be doing questions next week, I can ask my question next week.
Our time is done. Then please do. I admire your heart and generosity in putting others first. But I acknowledge that you too have many thoughts and decisions and ideas.
And we would like to thank you as well, and the other personalities that were ready to respond tonight. Thank you.
may I ask that you all, if you wish, have questions ready for next week. We will answer them again, and that will be our last session on that topic, and we will progress to another topic. If you, or if this has stirred something within your being, hopefully given you a greater understanding, that is my wish. When that video is posted, ask a question there, and I will inspire my medium to answer you there as well. But ask it in the audience for others, so others may also benefit from your question. Or bring your question next week for our final week on this topic before we change.
We have many questions from today left over that can be carried over to next week. Your guidance and response is quite popular, my friend. So
it is given freely. I ask no reward, but I give the answers as service to you. It is an expression of my love, my light, my joy in being with those which walk their path. You and I, all of you, are one. We are connected at the hip. Seems a little wrong to use a bodily expression for a formless being. I come to guide you, to be a finger that points in your directions. I am an expression of your eternal truth. Some say, are you a personality? But the truthful answer is I am you. God bless you all. Until next week, travel with love in your heart.